Welcome back to a little bit of cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. My name is Cody Depius. That is Sam Douglas. It's been a little while. Sam, how you been?
Hey, I've been really good. Got back from a family trip from Louisville. So it was kind of sweet. Had the National Ace Hardware Convention down there. We're talking Ace. We're talking my language, baby. So shout out to Ace Hardware. Shout out to Russ for bringing us down and all that jazz. And had an awesome weekend back up in La Crosse too. Threw a good party. I am missing a purple USB. If anybody sees a purple flash drive that is stocked with thousands of certified bangers, please reach out to myself or Cody or our official email at a little bit of cheese at gov.net. That would be great. Thank you.
Is there no way to back that up, or is that just too much money? Or you're just at that spot
I got plenty of flash drives, but they're all little bits and pieces. And if I was a smart man when I showed up to this event, I would have brought a smaller flash drive, but I brought the master one. I brought the motherload.
The one that stays at home.
The one that should stay at home. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the one that is hopefully in one of our listeners' pockets accidentally.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, looking at our recent listener numbers, the chances aren't extremely high, but maybe.
Hey, Pops, if you got my USB.
Hey, Dad. Yeah, I mean, we're at that point where all your iPhone storage is taken up, so Bree and I were we're going to get the big terabyte or whatever you buy for $150 and just throw all of our lifetime memories on there and then lock it in the safe. Not bring it to Who's on Third in La Crosse.
That's a great plan. If you want to hold on to your stuff, keep it away from Who's on Third.
Might be the way to go. I mean, I had pretty good luck there my couple of years working. I mean, I didn't bring a whole lot of things. I mean, I lost my dignity a couple of times, but that was about it. All right, on to the show. 2026 Brewers preview for today. We'll kind of go position by position, not anything that's too groundbreaking here. We know the Brewers, unless guys are going out, there's not going to be a lot of guys coming in. And this year, I mean, we have, of course, Freddie Peralta, Caleb Durbin. They're out. We got some interesting pieces back in. So we'll kind of go around the horn. I do have the Fangraphs projected lineup here for Milwaukee. Of course, behind the plate, coming off that hand injury, we have William Contreras. Personally, I'm going to expect a lot more out of him this year. What do you see here behind the plate? You got some backups in Reese McGuire, which if you want a good laugh, you go look up Reese McGuire parking lot. Side note. And Gary Sanchez is back on the team as well.
Did Contreras end up getting that surgery?
That's a good question. I think that he did. I'll try to double check.
I remember hearing it talked about, but yeah, that's got to be a big thing for him coming out this year. He's going to be Mr. Consistency. He's one of the top 5 catchers in baseball, and he's got to be holding down the offense. And Contreras hitting 240 is not going to be the recipe for success for the Brewers. Now we saw them do it last year, so to say Contreras having a bad offensive year is going to sink the ship, I don't think that's necessarily in the question. That's not how the Brewers are built. But if Contreras is hitting his ceiling as a player, which we know is top 3 catchers in baseball, then it elevates the Brewers to a different level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I expect more. I mean, last year in his down year was still a pretty darn good catcher, probably still top 5 in all of baseball. And we do have confirmation from reviewing the Brew. Great website as well. Little shout out there. He did get surgery, so hopefully healthy. Will be back. I know he has been playing in spring training. At first base, everybody's favorite pickup from last year, Andrew Vaughn, will be leading the way, and Jake Bauers, who had a resurgent second half, played great in the postseason, and then Tyler Black is your guy kind of sitting there in AAA. He's actually hit well in spring training. But how I feel about it personally, I don't think he's going to find an opportunity unless somebody is horrendous or if somebody gets hurt. Overview on first base.
I think Jake Bauers is going to be a solid Sunday lineup player for us that can maybe break Andrew Vaughn out of some slumps. I'm prepared to see the Vaughn dip because we know last year's numbers, what we saw out of Andrew Vaughn, is not to be expected year after year. He's not going to put up Mickey Mantle numbers. It's just not going to happen. That being said, I don't think he's going to go back to being a White Sox minor league player. I think he found something really good. I think being comfortable in a situation goes a long way for a hitter, especially one that needs just a little bit of pop for him to be relevant. So thinking good things for Andrew Vaughn, and for the first time in my life, I'm not going to be livid when I see Jake Bauers in the lineup.
Yeah, I feel that as well. You saw some real improvements out of both those guys last year, and really the change of scenery for Andrew Vaughn. And it just goes to show how important it is to have other bats around you in a lineup as well. Because when he was
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago, it was pretty empty there, and he was the guy, so pitchers could pitch him however they wanted. They could stay out of the zone, they could work in the zone, they could do whatever because he was the only one really for a while that they had to worry about. Not the case in Milwaukee, especially after he played himself down to AAA in Chicago. But yeah, those are going to be the two guys, barring injury. You feel comfortable. You know, Reese Hoskins, he is in Cleveland now. We hope
Yeah.
the best for him, but you just hope that there can be a little bit of a mainstay here at first base for the Brewers, a position that has, quite frankly, been a bit of a curse, I'd say, for the past ever since Prince Fielder left the team. So maybe Vaughn can be the guy that really leads the way there. Second base is probably a top, I'd say, 30 player in all of baseball, Bryce Terang. Team USA going to be playing the World Baseball Classic coming up here in a couple of days. We saw the power come on in August. I think you're looking at one of the top 3 second basemen in all of baseball.
Even if the power doesn't come along, Cody, he's still a top, like you said, 30 player in baseball. And that's the type of ball player that Bryce Terang is. If he can hit 20 home runs, that's awesome. But he doesn't even need that to be a game-changing player every time he's in the lineup. They got to throw him strikes because you don't want him on first base. If he's on first base, Murph's sending him to second base, and he can get to third on any base hit, easy as anybody in the league. So a lot of good things. A lot of good things. We've talked about Bryce Terang is a Cali boy growing up, and he might be in the future. So let's really enjoy a season of Bryce Terang while we got him.
Yeah, or maybe an extension. Like, I'm just open any day here. You get that big notification because that's
That's the
it's one of
guy.
those big ones. That's going to be a must-have, and he's that type of player. You have the power, you have the speed, you have the glove. You might see him a little bit at shortstop again. I know we talked about that last offseason, but that's something that could find a way to play, especially if you're talking injuries, which of course nobody wants. But
Mhm.
just saying, especially now with Caleb Durbin out the door, there's going to have to be some flexibility once again. They wanted Terang to go there last year. They tried it in spring training. He had arm problems. Who's to say that they don't have that in the back of their mind for this season as well? But if you're looking at a second baseman in Bryce Terang, you're looking at one of the best second basemen in baseball, and you got to be pretty happy about that. At shortstop is the one spot where, of course, you wanted improvement, but you thought probably wasn't going to happen. The latter was proven. Joey Ortiz is the shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers this year. I mean, you saw the defense really pick up by the end of it and into the playoffs. Was a really, really good defender at short. You never saw the bat get going. I know the team in the front office loves Joey Ortiz. I personally want to have more hope, but I found myself losing it as the last probably 24 months of our lives have gone on. How are you feeling with Joe-Yo? And he's got a beard now. Actually, we've seen debuted in spring training.
Joe has one fan on this podcast, Cody. I'm here to support him, man.
Yeah.
Defensively, if your middle of the infield is Joey Ortiz at short and Bryce Turang at second, I just love that so much. Look, someone's got to be hitting nine. Not everyone's going to be, everyone's going to have a role. That's how this Brewers team is set. He's a good runner. If he gets on base, he's got wheels. He's a defensive stud. I'm all on Team Joey Ortiz, and he can only get better offensively, right?
I mean,
Right?
you would say that. Yeah, I mean, you go back to 1960s. I got those 60s baseball cards back here. You see some of the numbers that were coming out of those shortstops because that was a position historically where if you can play defense, we'll give you a bat. I guess. And that's kind of what you saw last year out of Joey Ortiz, the worst qualified OPS in Major League Baseball. You would go to say and maybe hope that it only goes up from there. And I think it will. I think there's got to be more there. We saw more there 2 years ago. He just needs to maybe find somewhere in that middle ground, and I'm a happy camper. Third base, this is where things get a little funky. People want to say Jet Williams, but there is a new acquisition here for the Brewers. Luis Rengifo, formerly of the Los Angeles Angels, is going to be playing third base for a good chunk for Milwaukee. He was seen as a below average defender, but somebody who Matt Erickson and the rest of the coaching staff think can play a good third base. They say he's very athletic. They say he's twitchy. They say he has the tools. We just got to put it together. And Matt Erickson was able to turn Caleb Durbin, who was maybe an average to below average second baseman, and turn him into an above average major league third baseman last year. It was something pretty crazy to see from where he started to where he was by the time playoffs came. I have faith in where he can be defensively, a guy who's shown a little bit of pop here and there, but all in all, a major league player at third base is better than I was expecting after Caleb Durbin was traded.
If he can get up to 20 home runs for us, Cody, that goes a really long way. We know he's going to be consistent enough as he has been in baseball. If he can get 15, 20 for us, I think that goes a really long way.
I mean, be a career year for him. When I say a little bit of pop, we're talking like maybe a little bit more than Caleb Durbin or Sal Frelick.
Maybe he's got to go hang out with Jackson Profar's, Jurickson Profar's agent.
Yeah, Jurickson. I mean, we talked a little bit about Bronny last week. I don't know why he came up in conversation, but yeah, they know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Did you see the Profar news this morning? As you're off, Cody, off social media. 162 games coming down on Profar.
He got dinged last year. No way. Oh, see that's so stupid. I would think that it's a mistake on his part, but regardless, he's Atlanta still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that stinks for them. See, Sam, we're gonna have a lot of breaking news on this podcast every now and again because I am officially off of Facebook and Instagram because I just mentally didn't want to deal with all the noise. I'm trying to distance myself. The whole mental health and trying to live life how it's supposed to be lived. So I've gotten off it, but Sam, I think is going to be our main outlet for a lot of that extracurricular news. I'll stay up to date on our interstate teams, but when it goes to the national media and what goes on, I might be a little bit more lost than some of you that are tuning in now. So yeah, that's interesting news. I mean, sucks for Atlanta. NL East is going to be wild this year. I have no idea what's going to happen or turn out there, but Atlanta, I don't know if my bets are going to be on them anymore. Out in left field, possibly could be best player on this team.
In
Jackson
baseball.
Churio was banged up last year, only had 130 games. Did you say something?
You said best player may be in baseball?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. I'd like to see a little bit more on base percentage, but regardless, a banger, a 20-20 candidate, maybe a 30-30 candidate if really turns it up here, but someone who should be getting MVP votes. Do you think you see the guy who's going to be talked about on a nationwide scale? You think you're going to see that guy come out this year in Jackson Churio?
I think it's his time. I think that fits the narrative of a young sports star. He had some moments, he had some ups and downs. Now he's a couple years in the league on a team he feels comfortable with. And Yelly is in passing the torch mode. I think everything is lined up for Jackson Churio to be an MVP candidate this year.
I think so too. And just stay healthy, get those hamstrings right, boy, and everything will be quite all right. Center field, a question mark, but one that will be answered by somebody, and I feel confident in that. Right now, on the sheet, you have Garrett Mitchell starting on Fangraphs. You know that Blake Perkins is going to get a lot of action out there. You know Brandon Lockridge, he had a big home run, I think, last week in spring training as well. Someone who they think could be like a Keon Broxton type player, which I have my Jedi Keon Broxton bobble right there. But Another guy who might be in the mix, not quite sure who it's going to be, but I would say it's going to be somebody, and I'm not going to have to worry too much, especially knowing what these guys bring as a floor with their defensive capabilities.
These are three players that I really like all of them. I don't love any single one. There just hasn't been enough data for me to really fall in love with any of these guys like we have seen with Drury or like we have seen with Sal. Like those are the two jobs that I don't think are moving at all. But I really like these three as a unit. If any one of them is hot, they can be playing at an all-star level. We've seen the defense from all three of these guys, and Lockridge is going to be your third guy. He's going to fill in. He's going to be your pinch runner, pinch hitter when he needs to stay hot, Sunday lineup kind of guy. But again, he was brought in to have a role on this team, and he's there's one of a few guys in the league that got the wheels like him. And if he's hitting, you said big home run, Cody. I think it was 455 feet.
It
Like
was nuts.
that's that's legitimate power. Like that is you don't accidentally stumble into hitting one 450.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's a guy who had prospect status. I mean, now he's a 29-year-old guy who's just had a little bit over a cup of coffee in the big leagues, but someone who used to have that type of talent they thought was going to be your uh, defensive wizard, good speed, solid power, and everything else will figure it out. You kind of saw them go away from the power, I think, fundamentally. Milwaukee might be trying to tap back into it a little bit because that would give you something different than what's already there. And that's what you have in Blake Perkins and Garrett Mitchell. And I just want to say Garrett Mitchell's going to play. And I want to just say he's going to play well. But at this point, we had the same exact conversation last year and the same conversation before. I have no idea what can get hurt, but Garrett Mitchell always finds a way to
He'll
get part of
figure it out.
the
So if it were up to
year.
you when we're looking at the end of the season and you break down the games played by those three guys, how do you want to see that shake out?
I think Perkins is probably going to have 130. I think he's a good, solid outfielder. He's a guy I'd much rather want as a four than a third outfielder. Uh, he probably gets the most. If you can get health out of Garrett Mitchell, I mean, right now I'm thinking it's like 50 games out of Mitchell and then maybe like
Mhm.
110 out of Lockridge. And that's what it looks like in center field. And it's going to be a bit of a mixture. Guys are in, guys are out. Some guys are going to go to left field, right? I bet Churio gets a little bit of a mix in center field as well. We saw a good chunk of that last year before he got banged up. I mean, especially against the right-handed pitcher. Maybe you have Jake Bowers go out there in left field too. You
Yeah.
know that he can do that. You slide Churio over to center, or maybe you do a little mix around and Sal can work in too. But you got a lot of guys with defensive capabilities. I think more of the question is who's not going to play center field this year, and the answer would be Jake Bowers, and that's
Mhm.
probably going to be it out of the guys that we've talked about. So they'll find a role, they fill it, they always do. You want to see the Garrett Mitchell breakout, but you just can't bet on it until we see it. So that's the ceiling of this team. You get your best player if you get a full, healthy, and all cylinders Garrett Mitchell. But can't believe it till you see it. Out in right field, as aforementioned, Gold Glove winner, everybody's favorite, my wife's favorite player, Sal Frelick. He'll be holding down the fort. Mr. Consistency did it all year last year. Looked great. I liked his quote, and this kind of started. Sam and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago via text, but Sal Frelick was asked to play on Team Italy as he did back in 2023, and he said, "No, my main objective here is going to be playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. That is where my heart is. That's where I need to focus. I wasn't healthy at the end of last year, and I need to be for this team to go win a World Series this year. So I'm not playing Team Italy. I'm done with that." And I kind of brought that in with a conversation with Sam about Giannis continuing to play in the offseason for Team Greece every year, and we haven't seen him healthy at the end of the season in quite a few years now. So just a conversation I have here, but me going to say I like how Sal Frelick is thinking about this because I don't really care about Team Italy. I care about the Brewers. And right now, Sal Frelick and my morals align, and I'm cool with that. So, Sal Frelick.
100% agree. in one area, 100% disagree in another. Sal Frelick's ties to Italy are not quite Giannis's ties to Greece.
No, they're not.
That being said, the consistency about Sal is, I mean, I couldn't agree more. He's a 300 hitter. He just looks like a really good ball player. Nothing is fluky about it. He can do everything. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. He's a Gold Glove guy in the outfield. He's a fan favorite and everything you want out of leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I think so. A guy who is actually slotted in as the 5 hole in
Hmm.
Fangraphs. I don't know.
But
Third
that's the
base.
Brewers team, man. I think we have so many leadoff hitters on this team. They don't all have the average, but they have the kind of body type to work for it. If you
Right.
want,
Frelick is your most prototypical leadoff hitter. Like
yeah,
he's the like when you watch a baseball movie, Sal Frelick is the leadoff hitter in every single one. Like that's
I
who
would
it is.
love. I would. I'm here to see Churio lead off, get more at bats for the guy. If you're in a position you just want Churio to get cuts, he could be your leadoff. Bryce Turang, I don't think anybody's mad at getting Bryce Turang, the most possible plate appearances out of everybody on the team. I don't think anybody's mad at whoever's playing center field trying to get on base early. Sal Frelick is your best average guy. Like there's just Andrew Vaughn had a couple times. If you want to lead off with Yelly, who's your designated hitter, I don't think that's quite a problem either. Although he doesn't have the speed that he used to, he's pretty much locked in to be a 265 floor average hitter.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of guys that we could lead off with. But shout out to Sal. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, he's a good ball player. Another guy who I'm hoping gets an extension sometime in the coming months. Christian Yelich is going to be your designated hitter. You're also going to see Contreras. You're also going to see Gary Sanchez. It's going to be a rotating door of guys. Probably some Jake Bowers, probably some Andrew Vaughn, and maybe if Churio needs an off day, you see him working there. But primarily, it's going to be Yelich. Like last year, don't want to see him in the outfield too much. It's not great
Yeah.
defense anymore, and you don't want to risk getting him hurt because that bat was good in the regular season. In the postseason, that's a different conversation. But all in all, Yelich is kind of that glue that is holding that team together. He is one of the leaders, maybe a quiet leader at that, but someone who I think a lot of the younger guys turn to because someone who's been there, done that, and been a class act throughout all of it is just someone you want in your lineup every single day.
No doubt at all. And these guys remember his MVP season pretty clearly, I would imagine.
Yeah, should have been 2. I'll say that every time that is brought up. On the bench, David Hamilton, someone who I personally haven't seen a bunch of. A lot of speed, solid defense, going to play a lot of infield positions. We mentioned Bowers. We mentioned Perkins. We mentioned Gary Sanchez. The starting rotation, this is going to be fun. A lot of right-handers here.
A lot
Actually,
of
all
right.
right-handers on Fangraphs. It is Woodruff, Mizorowski, Priester, Patrick, Henderson, slotted at the top 5. You could see somebody else maybe slide in there, but it looks like Henderson has added a solid changeup, and that may have solidified his spot in that 5th role. Brandon Woodruff might be someone who doesn't pitch a lot right away because they're taking him on a slower pace. They want him to be healthy at the end of the season and not necessarily the beginning of the season. So
Me too.
don't be surprised if you see some piggyback starts with like a Aaron Ashby or a DL Hall or an Angel Zerpa. Some of those guys might get a mix as well.
No Brandon Sproat quite yet.
Not on the Fangraphs, no, but he's gonna pitch for the Brewers this year. I promise you, he'll
He's got
he'll
to be
be
in
in the
there. I
rotation.
think that's why we went out and got him as he's a lefty, right? Or is that Zerpa?
Zerpa, Shane Drohan, who I called Shane DuPont in the last video. I have to apologize on that. But there's also Kyle Harrison. I think I'm getting that right. You're going to have to fact check me if I'm wrong. The left hander we got from Boston.
That's who I'm thinking of. I think he's going to be pitching a lot of innings for us. I think he was an
When
intentional
he's
go
healthy.
get. Yeah,
He,
once
he is hurt
come
currently, but he will pitch for this team. As well as you'll see Drohan, you'll see all these guys. You go every year, there's going to be injuries, especially starting off a little bit slow with Woodruff. I'm not worried about the rotation. I mean, even when they had nobody last year, they found a way to have somebody it was like you look at that first month of the season, the way that that rotation stayed afloat, for them to end up with the best record in all of baseball is something that should have a movie written about it because it was bananas.
We did have a Freddie Peralta last year. I don't know if I see a Freddie unless it's a Chad Patrick or Priester, someone who's gonna go out and give you six every single time. Pause. If someone's gonna be able to do that for you, I think that can go a long way for this pitching staff. I can see this staff just burning arms quickly, Cody. I think, especially early in the season, you got to be quick on pulling Woodruff. You also got to be quick on pulling Miz. If he's not having a great day, we're not going to burn through innings of Jacob Mizorowski. I think that's foolish. Ashby is a stud. I don't think I also want Aaron Ashby in top form for playoff baseball. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's that important. Um, that being said, you still have Uribe McGill on the backside of things to hold that down. I think that is one of the better 1-2 punches in baseball, but I think it is going to be someone's going to need to step up. One of the
Mm-hmm.
starters, maybe two of the starters, are going to need to step up and be able to
Yeah.
consistently give six good innings.
Yeah, I got a lot of high hopes for Chad Patrick. I think he really turned it on at the end of last year. You saw that velocity tick up. You saw that fire come out. Henderson is kind of a we'll wait and see, but I mean, when he pitched, it was pretty awesome. Quinn Priester, I expect what I saw because it was simple. They didn't change a whole lot, but they made it work. Woodruff exceeded everybody's expectations, I think, last year. And then Mizorowski might be the guy. Like he might be your guy who steps up and takes that ace role
Mhm.
and who is actually making an all-star team. And everybody is saying, wow, he really deserved it this year.
He could be a Cy Young candidate, Cody. Like
Hmm?
we don't know what Jacob Mizorowski is going to do. If we want to run him, and we know that we're not going to give him an extension because we've had talks with his agent, and his agent is throwing out numbers that just don't make sense for a Milwaukee ball club. If that's how things have been going behind closed doors, let's run the kid. We got a young horse. Let's run him. Um,
Yeah.
and if that's the Jacob Miz season that we're gonna have, I'm so here for it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I mean, and your bullpen is nails too. You also have to like the depth here. There's not a lot of change, which is quite rare for a major league bullpen. But like you said, Uribe, McGill, you have Koenig, who has a ERA of 135 right now in spring training.
That's the
Ashby,
most that's the most Jared Koenig ERA I've ever heard in my life, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As soon as Yoel Payamps left, someone had to pick up the job.
yeah. Hey man, y'all hate Jared Koenig, but the numbers were there until they weren't. Zerpa, Anderson, Rob Z, DL Hall. It's deep. You got guys in the minors who are sitting and waiting, and they're going to be ready to. The arms are all there, and that's what Milwaukee has traded everybody away for, was to have so many arms that we don't have to worry about having depth. It's just who's going to be your top end talent, and that's where the big question lies here at the Brewers. But it'll find a way, at least in the regular season. And then, I mean, if you get a couple of just horses out of this mix here for the postseason, you always give yourself a chance. And last year, you'd say that they gave themselves a chance, except that they ran into the guy in all of baseball in Shohei Ohtani, and that happens sometimes. So
That'll happen.
yeah, that's our Milwaukee Brewers preview. I'll set the over under, I believe. I can't remember which one, but I saw it was 80 and a half, which might be the most over under that I've ever heard. That was, I mean, they do it every year. But I'm going to set our personal over under at 87 and a half wins. Sam, what are you taking?
Taking the over.
Yeah,
Taking the over. 97, 98 last year, right?
97.
97 with not a whole lot of turnover. And the young guys got an extra year in the league. Same manager. I see no reason why we're not doing the same darn thing.
Bet MGM has the Brewers over under at 84 and a half wins. And
The
I
80
am
80 number is wild. I will say that.
They do
I'm
it every year, man.
I'd put us I think I'd comfortably say not 90 plus feels fine. Why like there's no reason to think that it's going to be that big of a fall off.
No, I mean, you look at Freddie Peralta, but I mean, in terms of, I think you can replace Freddie Peralta. It's going to take guys. Don't get me wrong, but you have the amount of arms. I think you have the innings to be able to do it. I mean, we had the conversation before, but Freddie Peralta was, those are scary innings for me. Like there was never a let's cruise and get done with it. Like
Yeah.
that's just not how Freddie Peralta operated. So I think my blood pressure is going to be a little bit lower this year as an overall without Freddie Peralta in the rotation. But overall, you miss having somebody like that at the top of the
A
rotation.
lot of really cool things to look forward to, and we didn't even talk about any of the young guys, but I'd be really stoked if, we get 5 games out of Fisher, Pena, and Mate. It might not happen because that's not typically what we've done, but if we catch a little bit of glimpses of those three, I'd be really stoked about it.
If that happens, that means that things went really, really, really bad. So actually, I'm gonna hope that none of that happens. Or if they're hitting like a 1.2 OPS and they have to play them. But
Yeah.
I definitely think that for all three of those guys, we'll see in 2027. Sam, I want to let you take the mic a little bit. I know you got some Bucks juice. I wanted to save it for you. You did just release a tweet or an X post or whatever it is. Not a social media guy anymore, but you said fire Doc. If you could just elaborate a little bit after getting blown out by Boston yesterday and Giannis's return.
Doc's got to go, dude. There's just no energy on the team. As soon as we signed Cam Thomas, I said it kind of ruins the tank. And the Brewers went on to win 8 out of 10 games, and it kind of looked like, sorry, the Bucks. Bucks went on to win 8 out of their next 10 games, which Bobby Portis has since referred to as quote "fool's gold for real, bro." So, shout out to Bobby for keeping it a buck. Last night. Kuzma had played really, really solid during those 10 games, and he did not play on a coach's decision. So Doc's just benching Kuz, and he's really the only one who's had like significant buy-in this year. I think Kuz has been kind of impressive on some of the glue stuff he's done. Um, $50 million dollars on the floor combined between Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma last night. They combined for 19 minutes and 5 points. That's just pitiful. We're not made out of money, and we're throwing money on guys to get 19 minutes and 5 points combined. After the game, quote from Doc Rivers: "I don't care about points. I just care about how we're playing." Cody, this is not a Black Mirror episode. This is really it's sad. This is not funny. This is sad. We have a man named
It's
Doc
kind
Rivers.
of funny.
He's destroying my favorite sports team, Cody. It's breaking my heart.
It's so sad. It's funny to me.
We're playing great and we kind of lost our way. I think it's on both ends. I think offensively we had a great rhythm. No, you didn't. And we've done it in spurts in the last 3 games, but we haven't been able to sustain it. The last 3 games, we lost by 29 to the Knicks. We lost by 23 to the Bulls, who are trying to lose games. And then we lost by 27 to a Boston Celtics team with no Jaylen Brown, obviously no Jason Tatum, and Hugo Gonzalez kicked our ass. It's the Celtics have less personnel, but you see the difference in like, and I'm on record saying Joe Mazzulla is my favorite coach
Yeah.
in basketball. Can't say enough good things about him.
Great guy too. Like
But watching the
really
game
cool.
last night is
Awesome
just
stuff.
there's effort on one team and there's not effort on another. You can't have a good defense if 2 of your guys are playing defense. You want to watch some good defense, and I'm excited to watch March Madness coming up because those teams they talk about being on a string together. You remember the Jim Boeheim Syracuse defense
Hmm.
was swarming because it was 5 guys playing defense together. I haven't seen a minute of that with the Bucks team this year, and it's just buy-in, it's culture, it's buy-in, and Doc sets the standard at an absolutely filthy level. So yes, it's fire Doc Rivers. To be a little bit of optimist here, I hope Cam Thomas enjoys his time here at the Bucks so he doesn't completely ruin the tank and he signs with us again. If we can get him on like a 3-year, $30 million deal, I think that would be huge for us going forward. But this year, it's not it. We don't stand a freaking chance. If you have a freak, you have a chance. Um, but it's fire Doc Rivers.
So that's my uh greater question today is at what point did the Bucks lose you for this season?
It might have been last night, Cody. It might have been last night. It might have been giving letting the Bulls go on a 27 to nothing run on Sunday, just the day before yesterday. It's just the effort isn't there. It's I don't know. Especially watching Giannis come back last night. And I think some of it is the guys gotta, learn to play a little bit with Giannis, and it's a big change to a team. No
Mm-hmm.
pun intended, big guy. But
He's a big guy.
um I don't know. I think and the Hornets are playing really good ball, so we're chasing down the Hornets who started picking it up, and I do like the Hornets young core. They got Con Kneppel playing really good. Brandon
I
Miller is
gotta
probably
root
the
for
future
Con.
All-Star.
Like
Gotta
I
root for
love
Con.
seeing it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Um, got a grader for you. 100 days from today starts the World Cup, which is going on in America, which is kind of sweet. You got any favorite World Cup memories?
Oh golly, no. I'm sorry. I am the
Not a big World
worst.
Cup guy.
No, I have not sat down and watched an entire soccer game from start to finish, aside from I did a couple in college and in high school. On TV, that hasn't been me. So I'm the worst guy of all time to answer that question. So I'll return the favor. What's your favorite?
Um, I watched the 2006 final when Zinedine Zidane headbutted a man. And I was young at the time, and I thought it was the coolest thing. Probably like an assault charge or something. But Zidane headbutted someone in the World Cup final. And then last year's, not last year, the most recent World Cup championship when it was Messi and Mbappe, it went into overtime, and I was a goalie growing up. And the Argentinian goalie made, I think, the best save I've ever seen. No, it was the France goalie because they were going on the run, and it ended up turning into the last goal. But greatest save I've ever seen happen is a one-on-one situation, overtime of the World Cup final. Reputation's on the line. He stuck a leg out, made a save at a million miles an hour. It's just awesome. Hey, I got another grader. Probably something that you are maybe more tapped into. We talked a lot of Brewers. Give me your one breakout player. Who is the most improved one year to the next?
Oh, so from this year to next year, um, I'm probably gonna go see. I want to say that it's gonna be Churio, but I mean he's been a really solid player to this point. We saw it already with Terang. We've seen Contreras do it. Frelick, I think you've seen pretty much the ceiling. Vaughn, I think you saw his best baseball in the second half last year. So it's I mean your offense is pretty much set, but when it comes down to it, I'm gonna go with the pitcher. So I think you're gonna have to go with Jacob Mizorowski, and that is just because of what we've seen him be able to do, what we
Mhm.
know is in that tank, and now that he knows that he has an entire season to work with, it could do one of two things. It could be crazy, or it could be really crazy, and it could go bad. But I think that I think he's the kind of guy that can wipe something off. Like if something goes wrong, I don't know if he's someone that lets that continue to sink him because he had some rough moments in the second half last year. You could have seen him go into the playoffs. Oh, they're not starting me. They're not giving me my 5-6 innings. He could have been Mr. Pouty guy there, but he was not. He was the best pitcher on the Brewers in the playoffs. He shoved. I think he can turn the page. I think all the arm talent in the world is there. I think Mizorowski's going to be your most improved.
Here for
You
it.
there?
I'm here for it.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you the next time when we see you. I'm Cody. That's Sam. This has been another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.